All right, back on the Morning Rush, getting you set for a big weekend. Mother's Day coming up, as we all know, but it's a huge weekend for Arkansas baseball. Number 4 Arkansas, who is 28th in the RPI, visits number 19 Auburn, who's number 4 in the RPI. So I guess we're going to find out who's really number 4 this weekend, and we're going to talk about with Scott Tabor coming up in just a moment. We're also going to talk some horse racing. It's a huge weekend there, the biggest weekend of the year, with a Kentucky Derby on the way as well. You can bet on all the races this weekend at busr.com/Morning Rush. Get a 100% sign-up bonus when you go online and start a new account with BUSR. That's busr.com/Morning Rush. You put in 300, they match 300. You put in 1,000, they match 1,000 to start your account with BUSR. Plus, your bets are safe, fun, and secure. Sportsbook, racebook, casino, card games, everything you're looking for to have some fun and some action is online this weekend at busr.com/Morning Rush. Bet with confidence. Bet with BUSR.com. Former Razorback pitcher Scott Tabor has joined us here at the Riverfront Studio on the North Fork River. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning. Good morning.
Getting ready for, when you look at the standings, this is where you want to be. 3 weekends to go. It's kind of like having a big football game in November, like November 5th or something like that, a game that matters. Hey, we're playing for the division lead. We're playing for second in the division. Well, to put it in football terms, that's where we're at. We're early November. We got 3 weekends, 9 games left. That's basically a third of the SEC schedule. And here we are with some games of consequence on the Plains this weekend.
Well, in baseball, in college, and in pro ball, in the minor leagues and big leagues, it's how you start and how you finish. The middle, people really don't pay attention to. So we started off good. We need to finish strong, and we'll be exactly where we want to going into the postseason.
If you're Nate Thompson going into this weekend and the uncertainty, I think maybe it's a little clearer that Auburn's not going to have 2 of their best pitchers, a starter and a reliever. So change your it has to change your scouting approach, but how are you preparing and approaching the weekend with your hitters when you know that 2 arms are out for Auburn?
They don't really – you have to understand and really realize that every arm on that staff is a quality arm. There are no slugs. They don't bring people in just to fill a roster.
Well, everyone does something a little different, though, right?
Well, they do, and so it could be a blessing in disguise for Auburn that sometimes their starters may go down. It's going to give another guy that nobody has seen much. We don't have as many pitching scouting reports on. We haven't seen him on video. So you have a guy that's just waiting his turn. Look at Will McIntyre. He's waiting his turn, and he's got great stuff. So they can't take it. They go, well, the starter's out, so we'll take game 1 and we'll get game 2. We'll look at game 3. You have to take them one game at a time. They're going to fill that slot with a quality arm, and every dog has his day. So they shouldn't change their approach. And I hope their approach is better at hitting first pitches a little bit more, getting our guys a little bit earlier in the count.
I don't think that the starting pitching will suffer for Auburn, but what you might take advantage of is that guy came from somewhere. And he probably was pitching in long relief, middle relief, and so there's somebody else that's going to be stuck into that role, and maybe they're a little uncomfortable in that role. Yeah. So maybe, and he probably isn't somebody that's going to give him 5 or 6.
Well, I don't know. Was he a midweek starter?
Yeah, he was but they would use him on the weekend. Mm-hmm. So he's pitched some on the weekend. Right. But yeah, it's one guy less.
Right.
It's Arkansas has already been through that, though. They lost Peyton Paulette. I think I would rather lose somebody when we did as opposed to
midseason,
this point in the season.
I'll tell you,
Florida just lost Barco.
Right. No, I know. As a pitcher, though, starting on the weekend and starting in the midweek, as a pitcher and as a player and as a competitor, there's no difference. As a pitcher, the strike zone is the strike zone. The mound's 60 feet 6 inches from home plate, and so you're throwing quality pitches. You're throwing them to better hitters, and they're going to hit your mistakes. So if you're not making mistakes in midweek, you're not going to make mistakes on the weekend, and that's the biggest difference. The difference in hitters is they hit your mistakes and they hit them hard. Midweek guys, depends if you're playing Jacksonville State or the Ladies of the Blind or whatever. They're not going to hit those mistakes.
They're called Ole Miss. I'm sorry.
Ole Miss, yeah, Ole Miss. It's kind of what they've turned into. Those canes
you
fold
said their
up.
Name wrong. It's called Ole Miss.
What did you call those guys in burnt orange back in the day?
I can't tell you that. I called them meat.
Hey, Connor Nolan has been been pretty solid, but hadn't always got the run support to get him through a past couple of Friday nights. As a pitcher, I'm sure you never suffered with that, where your team didn't back you up with some runs, Scott. But what's the mental approach to that when you know you're hitting your spots and you're doing what your catcher's asking you, and you feel like you're pitching well, but your team doesn't have enough runs on the board to really get you across the line to win the game? That's got to be a challenge upstairs between the ears for Connor or any pitcher in that scenario.
Well, I think as a Friday night pitcher, you go into every game knowing, I always win the attitude, just give me a run. Just give me a run. Because you want to go in, you want to get everybody out. It doesn't always work that way. You can't get disappointed in your teammates for not putting up runs, because the guy on the other side, you're not pitching against their pitcher, you're pitching against their hitters, and he's pitching against your hitters. And so it's not you against the other pitcher. So you have two good arms going, and really it's kind of fun. The game goes by quicker. There's not a lot of sitting around in big innings. As much as you love to score runs, I didn't really like having a 10-run inning or a 6-run inning where you're a lot of walks and a lot of this and all that.
Lose your rhythm.
Lose your rhythm. I mean, I like to go, and I was on a roll. I like to go in and get down, sit down, and drink a cup of water and get another piece of gum and sit down and chew it for a little bit, get her 3 up, 3 down, and go out and get my 3 outs. And the last 3 innings were what were important to me, because they don't do that now. 7, 8, 9 were what important to me. That's when things really started rocking. So I don't think it'll change Connor's approach. He's a mature pitcher, and I think you're seeing that. And so he'll go into it and just do his job and know that all he can do is what he can do.
One of the things to watch early on, and he didn't have it in this last game, he was not landing his breaking ball. In fact, he was landing it below the zone.
Right.
And he has had the ability to throw that breaking ball on any count. He can throw it first pitch, knowing that they're not gonna slam it, and he has not thrown any hangers. But he was low with his breaking ball, and so they set on his fastball.
Right.
And his fastball is just okay. But when he's landing that breaking ball, what happens, Scott?
It makes that fastball that much better. Here's the thing with pitching that a lot of people also don't see is, you say, well, he's going to throw a fastball. If you throw a fastball on the black at the knees, outside corner, on the black at the knees, inside corner, inside, up underneath their armpits in the top part of the thing, those are hard to hit when you know it's coming. Even if you know it's coming, it's still hard to hit. So what people get hit on, they go, well, he's bringing a fastball here. It's a fastball count. He's not getting his breaking ball over. He doesn't have a changeup. So that's what's going through a hitter's mind. And those are the ones that get sat on and get knocked off the wall. So if he's throwing, even on fastball counts, if he's throwing good quality fastballs, it makes a difference.
Sharpness.
Yes, with a little dip on it,
Former Razorback pitcher Scott Tabor with us here this morning in person. Rare in-person conversation with Clay and I here on a Friday, a tie-free Friday on the Morning Rush. You guys can thank Ty for that. He's at a crawfish boil, not a wedding.
What it is?
He's at a crawfish boil.
Air seems fresher.
It's not a wedding?
It's not a wedding. It may be a wedding that pops up, but he's at a.
So
we'll talk about.
He asked off for a party?
Correct.
Wow.
But
that's like kid stuff. That tells you his age. He thinks he can ask off for a party.
Well, apparently it worked.
I went down the wrong hole here. It went down the wrong rabbit hole with Clay. Been a lot of fan conversations. Sometimes fan conversations and questions are wrong, but sometimes they're not. And we've had a lot of conversations, a lot of texts, a lot of phone calls about people where there's this missing element. There's something amiss with this team with the hitting, or there's just not the right combination. Because I think our fans' expectations have elevated to the point where it's a national championship.
Right.
So they're looking for the right combination of everything to win it all at the end. Are the fan conversations that we're having, the interactions with our listeners, right or wrong, Scott? Is this team got what it takes, the right mix of stuff to win it all in Omaha?
There's nothing wrong with our hitters. Our hitters are talented. Our hitters have shown in the past that they can hit the ball hard, they can hit it off, and they can hit it out of the park. I think there's a lot of mental stuff going on. And a good analogy, I think, would be how many weapons does the pitcher have? If he's a 4-pitch pitcher, and I was a multiple-pitch pitcher that I could throw for strike. When you do that, you cause pause. When you cause pause, when the hitter has to see, is he? And Bubba Carpenter's the best. The little guy on his shoulder talking to him all the time.
Yeah.
It cracks me up. You get that guy talking, you get him talking back and forth every at bat. He goes, okay, all right, he's going to throw me a fastball.
So like me standing over a golf ball.
He won't throw me another changeup, and you swing through a changeup after 3 times because, well, the little guy on my shoulder says, hey, he's coming with the fastball. When you get hitters doing that, and I think there's a little bit of that going on with this team. You know, if they can lead off with a breaking ball for a strike, or they can start off with a changeup for a strike, or they come in and throw 4 fastballs right by them because you're not looking for fastball. You're having to hesitate just that little. How could he miss that pitch right down the middle? Well, because he was looking for something else, and so it changes your swing and it changes your tempo.
Or looking for a pitch in a different area of the plate.
Yeah, and so that's the advantage of being on the pitching part. You know what you're going to throw. He doesn't. So I think our hitters. It just comes down to, and George Brett used to do it. I used to watch him in spring training. Just amazing. He'd spend hours on the tee. He's just working on mechanics of his swing, and he was a see it and hit it. Because eventually that's what it comes down to. You can think all you want, but clear the brain and get up and you see it in your spot and you unload on it.
Yeah, I played catcher, and I love to take a peek and see the hitter in its stance and see where he's leaning.
Right.
And if he thought it was an outside slider and you could throw a pitch in his wheelhouse, inside fastball, he couldn't hit it.
Right.
Because he's leaning for that outside slider. And you think, well, they just threw it in his sweet spot, and he couldn't pull the trigger. And it's amazing. You think, well, what? Why? How did he not? Well, you had him.
And that's pitching.
Yeah.
That's pitching, and it's in the purest essence of pitching is not throwing. You know, we got lots of guys who can really, really throw it.
Yeah. You know, I love to watch James McCann catch for the Mets, and you can just see his head. He's looking up at that, and then he calls the pitch. And the hitters, they can't help it.
Right.
They you can see them where they go in the batter's box. You know, if they scoot up a little bit, well then boom, we're just going to do that. We're going to hit them where they ain't.
And a great catcher will make an average pitcher really good.
So I think
Turner's a good pitcher really great.
Turner's pretty good.
Yeah.
Nobody likes him catching on one knee. I have not seen it hurt him. He's out of that one knee when he throws. I mean, he's not throwing from the knee.
Tony Pena.
Yeah.
Used to do that.
So,
sorry, Tommy.
No, you're fine. No, this is a good conversation. We were talking earlier about TrackMan and all these things, and it really comes back to, can this team score some runs without home runs? Clay says it doesn't matter. That's another thing that's been in kind of the conversations in fan circles about, Arkansas scored a lot of their runs with the deep ball. I asked the question about, when you get on the TrackMan in golf, will you just swing harder naturally? Has it changed the game? I know it has with pitchers because you got the spin rates and you got all of these things that now you're focused on the analytics. How much do you think has changed the game, and can Arkansas get more consistent with scoring runs on balls that don't leave the park?
Well, if they quit hitting so many atom balls, Robert Moore would figure out that the guys have been playing at first baseman plays in the same place all the time, and they do shifts, but and they can't control that. I'm joking, but
he's had a run of that though.
Yeah, he really has. He's just that gets you down more than anything else because you do everything you're supposed to do and you hit it right on the nose, but it's right at somebody. And our hitting with runners in scoring position, or moving guys over, or basic things, a guy on second and third with one out, with less than 2 outs, hitting the ball the right side to score a run. You don't see that as much as you used to, and I think because when you train on a certain level. You don't have a swing for this and a swing for that and all these things, just like changing a golf swing. Now, you can learn to work the ball right to left or work it left to right. A little tougher when somebody's throwing it at you 95 miles an hour. I'd like to see that happen more, but it's kind of late in the season. By this time of the season, you are what you are. So
it looks to me also that there's 2 or 3 holes in the lineup, and teams are pitching to those holes. And if they're not going to pitch to Caden Wallace, and consequently he's going after some pitches that maybe he should just let go and take the walks.
He's pressing, right.
And Robert Moore, they're going to pitch to him right now. They're going to pitch to Peyton Stovall. Mm-hmm. And if there's if Gregory's in the lineup and there's a left-hander, they're going to pitch to him. And some of the other guys, they've got to pick up the slack for those guys until something happens with them, and then all at once they can make that strategy wrong.
And that can change. They every one of those kids has
they have
talent.
it in them.
they've got it in them, or they wouldn't be in the lineup. And that can change. You see guys going from 1-23 to 10 for 11. And that's what I think, to take this team as far as we as fans want them to go, which is the national championship. They've got to be able to get hot. Somebody's got to get hot. Not just one guy, but 3 or 4 guys in that lineup have to hit where the expectations were from back.
All that has to happen, and this sounds really simple, but they get in a series and top-end pitchers make 2 or 3 mistakes to Robert Moore.
Right.
And all I want you to think, he just came out of his – no, they made mistakes, and he slammed them. And, good pitches get good hitters out. Mistakes, good hitters feast.
Correct.
So,
and a mistake's what? 3 inches? 2 inches?
No, an inch.
Okay, there you go.
It's your margin for error. The higher up you go,
curveball doesn't spin.
Yeah.
It doesn't bite. Yeah, and that's where you see. That's where you talked about TrackMan. I had a conversation with Dan Wright with the White Sox, and he was talking about he's a scout now. He used to pitch for the Razorbacks, and he said he goes, I don't go to games anymore to watch, just to scout. He said I look at analytics. I can tell when the pitcher should be coming out. His curveball, on TrackMan, his curveball, the spin rate goes down.
He lost it.
Get it out. Now that's stuff that's just so foreign to me. I thought. Used to when I was playing.
But don't you think Jordan could tell you when the curveball was?
You can.
Yeah.
If you watch a pitcher, if you've watched enough playing, it's time to get him out. And most of the time, they're losing their legs.
Yeah.
Most of the time, they're losing their legs.
Let's take a phone call before we close up the conversation. Terry's been listening to us driving down I-40. Terry, you're on the Morning Rush.
Good morning, gentlemen. I don't know how relative this question is, just a curious baseball question. Other than just getting that first win on Friday night under your belt, is there a specific reason the best pitcher is always designated for that first night?
It's a good question, Scott.
Well,
thank you for the call, Terry.
It's because you want to go your best guy the first night. And, of course, the other team's going to do that same thing. And that's the history of it. You want to play one-on-one. Now, one time, and I'll tell you, playing Texas, and they needed to win 2 out of 3 against us. Well, it was supposed to be me and Roger Clemens head-to-head. And I hadn't given up. I'd given up 1 run in 3 years to Texas. And
whatever happened to that guy?
So Clemens, here's my claim to fame. My only one is Clemens dodged me. So they put him on the second. They pitched him on their second game and brought their number 3 guy to throw again, and it was an 8-0 shutout because they didn't want a Gork hit. Something funky to happen when they lose one
in a 2-1 game.
Yeah, and so that strategy worked out, and it was a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, and I will say this: sometimes the team that is lower in the standings, which means they're not as good, and they're trying somehow to get in the NCAA tournament, and you see them late in the season, they will pitch off, and they might save their number 1. I know Kentucky did that a couple of times against Arkansas. They saved their number 1 for Sunday and said, okay, we need 1 win. We don't need to get swept by Arkansas. We need to get into the SEC tournament, and you'll see teams pitch off.
When you see it in the regionals when a 4-1
good teams
matchup.
don't pitch off.
Yeah.
No.
You'll see it in postseason where a 1 seed has to make a decision whether they're going to pitch off against a number 4.
Right, and it doesn't always work.
Sometimes that bites you in the backside.
It doesn't always work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the good teams don't do it.
No.
Yeah. All right, real quick, a couple of things to watch for, some keys that you think are going to determine maybe the outcome of the series this weekend.
Playing on the road's different. Your energy's a little bit different. I think this team is a very business-like team. I don't think they're going to change preparation, for losing their number 1 starter. They still have to prepare for a really good arm coming. I think their mental attitude, if they come out that first game, and that first game's important for setting the tone. You win that first game, you go into the next 2 games that
shifts the pressure.
It does. It takes pressure off. You don't want to get swept. You never want to get swept. But when you're going on the road, things can happen. Bounces seem to go the other way more often than not. But I think if they come out play with some energy, play with with a good approach and play a good clean game, no errors. They have tendency to make errors on the road, and everybody does.
Yeah, I think the key is to be loose and aggressive.
Yes, absolutely.
And I know, Dave, we've got that little clip from after the Missouri State game where he's like, we're we're a good team. We're not a special team.
Right.
And then he spoke a little longer about he wants to see a late season push. You can improve. And I think that's what makes his ability to coach so sweet, is that you see them peak late in the year for postseason. Well, this is basically postseason right now.
Yep.
Yeah. Scott, thank you. Have a great weekend.
You bet.
I know your daughter's graduating. It's a big, proud daddy moment this weekend.
That's right. You have a wedding coming up.
Yeah,
I had one of those last year.
All right.
I want to thank Scott for giving me the proper coaching and lead up to my first pitch, and gave me the fundamentals and stressed. I went out there just thinking about the fundamentals that you gave me.
I was proud. I was proud to see it. You did open up. I'll tell you, you did open up a little early,
a little quick,
so you lost a little velocity. You didn't use your legs as much.
You've not coached much from a 44-foot mound. So.
Yeah, I think instead of throwing it 28, I threw it 22.
Yeah, but your ball had some good sink on it. Nobody would hit that pitch. After Ty said he could take it out of the yard, he would have grounded to third.
Yeah. Scott, we'll talk to you next Friday.
All right.
Former Razorback Scott Tabor with us here on the Morning Rush.
Partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season's futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so head to the website today or use your mobile device to join and use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.